I thought it was just an ordinary Wednesday morning in my 6th grade year. I was leaving school looking for Mom in the pickup line, and she wasn't there. I later found out that she was at the grocery store, just doing our daily shopping, and had passed out at the grocery store and was taken to our local hospital, where she was immediately transferred to the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics. They didn't know what was wrong. She was there from Wednesday and she passed away on Monday. After dealing with shortness of breath for many months, possibly even a couple years, one night, one of the boys got up in the middle of the night, and I went down to check on him, make sure that he was okay, came back up the stairs, and when I laid back down in bed, my heart started beating extremely fast. It went down into my shoulder and up into my neck, and I screamed. I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. I finally went to the ER the next evening. I was complaining of chest pains. The ER doc came in. He dug into my family history and found out that my mom had passed away of pulmonary hypertension. I had blood work done. They did an EKG. I had chest x-rays taken that night and a CAT scan. When he knew that I was stable and he had all the results of those tests that night, he released me with the understanding that I needed to see a cardiologist. The cardiologist actually called Randy on Wednesday morning and told him that she had already made an appointment. And he proceeded to tell me that I indeed did have pulmonary hypertension.
Pulmonary hypertension at its simplest form is high blood pressure in the lungs, just like you have systemic hypertension when a doctor checks your blood pressure in the arm. This is elevated pressure in the arteries and blood vessels in the lungs. There are several groups of pulmonary hypertension. What Meredith suffers from and what we're talking about is a type called pulmonary arterial hypertension or precapillary pulmonary hypertension. And that's due to abnormalities in the blood vessels themselves.
Dr. Kosmic walked me through the medication process. He decided to put me on an oral medication, which we started immediately. There are also inhaled medications, and there are also medications that are much more invasive that have to be through a port that would have tubing and a pump that are 24 hours. So after much research, very quickly, within a couple of weeks, we were packed up, loaded to Mayo. Met with Dr. Michael Kroka up there, and his recommendation was that I go on Velitre, which is an IV-infused medication. The downfall and the bad thing about that is that you're connected to tubing for the rest of your life. After a lot of thought, we decided that we were going to reach out and get a third opinion. We ended up going out to LA, to the UCLA clinic out there to see Dr. Ronald Udiz. He's at the forefront of the pH medicine. He's behind a lot of the trial drugs and getting drugs FDA approved. So we felt confident in his opinion. He thought that I was doing well on the medication that I was on, and that he just recommended that I wait for the medication for a full 3 months to let it see if it was going to work. So I left LA under the same impression that Velitre was the way to go. We were just holding out until we could see what was happening. The 3 months rolled around. I got in to see, and for my follow-up echo, I got the results back, and my mean PAP pressure went from an 84 to a 42. I was shocked. I was not expecting a change. I was expecting worse. And we've decided that Velitre is, while inevitably I will have to go that route. Randy and I have put myself on a very short leash. If my symptoms get any worse or my pressures get any worse, I will for sure go on it. Just right now, I'm not ready to give up the freedom that I have.
Pulmonary hypertension is referred to as a silent killer because a lot of the patients have already seen 3 doctors and been diagnosed 3 different times before they've actually gotten the correct diagnosis.
The goal is to get the early screening and early detection that's needed so more people will have a fighting chance. There's 4 stages to pulmonary hypertension, and if you get much past the second stage, your chances of survival are cut in half. Make it that it's something that doctors rule out instead of 4 appointments down the road, 3 appointments down the road, they're ruling it in.
I was diagnosed as a class 2 of pulmonary hypertension. Class 2 is where I have shortness of breath with any exaggerated activities. I used to take the boys on walks daily, trying to push both of the kids in a double stroller. Up that slight incline would cause me to stop to catch my breath, and that has definitely slowed down. Our walks are much more limited.
It's changed everything about your family. There are days where we see the worst of PH, and the unfortunate reality is we never really know which day we're going to have.
It's a disease that does not discriminate against anyone. It can affect all races, all ages.
Well, presently, the gold standard in the way that you are definitively diagnosed is through a right heart catheterization, which is an invasive procedure in which a probe is inserted generally through your groin up into the right side of your heart, where pressure levels are then measured.
What's really important here is to identify the at-risk population of patients and to make them aware of their risk and let them give them education about what signs and symptoms they should look for and when they should go to their doctor.
Since being diagnosed with PAH, I've had to learn how to say no. I can't just get up and do everything that I want, everything that we used to. I tire easily. I need to make sure that I'm still able to take care of myself, take care of my house, take care of the kids.
Unfortunately, as we sit here, oftentimes the symptoms that we see that are attributable to PH are also attributable to many other common conditions. And so we need to raise the general awareness of the people, of the public, so they understand that sometimes it is PH.
Losing my mom to PH, being diagnosed with pulmonary arterial hypertension myself, knowing the history of the disease, knowing that there is no early detection, you don't know that you have it until your symptoms are already there.
People who lose oxygen oftentimes develop blue lips. So from those factors, that's where we found the name. Meredith and I co-founded Blue Lips to help people. That's really what this comes down to. We want to save lives. As we were going through the process of treating and figuring out the diagnosis and trying to decide how we're going to attack this, the thing that stuck with me the most was that she wanted to help others. The mission of Blue Lips is to raise awareness and to generate funds for research and education for early detection and screening. The second thing you're going to do by giving money to Blue Lips is you're going to fund young researchers who are committed to novel diagnostic tools that are less invasive. That's the mission of Blue Lips. The goal really is to save lives. Hold on, we'll get there. Keeping families intact, that's the goal.